It was raining the night she finally found the courage to knock on his door again. The streetlights flickered, her umbrella trembling in her cold hands. Every step she took toward that old wooden door felt heavier than the last, like her heart was dragging behind her. For 3 years, she'd avoided that house. For 3 years, she'd told herself she'd moved on. But now, standing there on the soaked porch, something inside her whispered, "This time, it's different." When Emily raised her hand and tapped lightly, the sound of her knuckles against the door was almost drowned by the storm. She hesitated, praying he wouldn't open. And yet, deep down, hoping he would. Inside, Daniel sat in his usual spot, by the window, with a cup of coffee that had long gone cold. The clock on the wall ticked softly. Every night, for the past 1,000 nights, he had sat there, waiting. Waiting for something he told himself would never happen. He'd imagine her shadow appearing on his porch, her hesitant knock, her voice breaking as she said his name. When he finally heard it, 3 soft knocks, he froze. His heart pounded, the mug slipping slightly in his grip. For a moment, he thought he was dreaming again. He'd imagined this sound too many times to believe it was real. But when he opened the door and saw her, drenched, trembling, eyes glistening with rain and regret, he realized this wasn't a dream. "Hi," she whispered. His breath caught. "Emily." For a long moment, neither moved. The world seemed to hold its breath with them. Rain drummed on the roof, the air smelled of earth and memory. "Can I come in?" she asked softly, almost afraid of the answer. He stepped aside without a word. She entered, her eyes flickering over the familiar furniture, the photos on the wall, the small plant she'd given him years ago that somehow was still alive. Daniel closed the door behind her. "You look different." She let out a shaky laugh. 3 years does that. He nodded. "Yeah, it does." There was silence. Heavy, awkward, yet filled with everything unsaid. He motioned to the couch, and she sat, clutching her hands together. He sat opposite, watching her closely. She looked thinner, her eyes tired but still carrying that same light that had once made his world brighter. "I wasn't sure you'd still be here," she said quietly. "I wasn't sure I'd still be here either," he replied. "But I stayed." "Why?" she asked, though she already knew. He looked down. "Because I couldn't forget." The words hung between them like the echo of a promise broken but not lost. She closed her eyes for a moment. "I didn't come to reopen old wounds, Daniel." "Then why are you here?" She hesitated. Her lip trembled as she struggled to speak. "Because I never stopped thinking about you." He looked up sharply. "Then why did you leave?" That question, sharp, quiet, and aching, cut through her like it did 3 years ago when she walked away. "I was scared," she said, her voice breaking. "After Mom died, I didn't know how to love anyone without the fear of losing them. You were everything good in my life, and that terrified me. I thought if I left first, it wouldn't hurt as much when you eventually did." He exhaled, his jaw tightening. "So you hurt both of us instead." Her tears spilled freely now. "I know. And I've regretted it every day since." He looked away, his fingers tracing the rim of the mug. "You could have called. Written. Anything." "I tried," she whispered. "But every time I picked up the phone, I'd lose the courage. You deserved better than my broken apologies." He finally looked at her, really looked. The woman in front of him wasn't the same girl who'd left. Her pain had matured her, softened her. And even after everything, his heart ached the same way it always had for her. "I waited, Emily," he said quietly. "Every night, I'd leave the porch light on. Just in case." She covered her mouth with her trembling hand, tears streaming down. You waited?" He nodded slowly. "I told myself I'd stop after the first year. Then after the second. But I couldn't. I thought if I stopped, it meant giving up on you completely. And I wasn't ready for that." Her heart shattered. "Daniel, I don't deserve that kind of love." He leaned forward. You don't get to decide that. I did. Silence again, this time not awkward, but heavy with emotion neither could contain. Finally, she whispered, I came tonight because I'm leaving town tomorrow. I needed to see you one last time. His chest tightened. Leaving? She nodded. There's a job opportunity in another city. A fresh start. He swallowed hard. And you thought seeing me would help you move on? Her lips quivered. I thought it would help me say goodbye properly. Daniel rose and walked to the window, staring into the rain. You always come when it's too late. She stood too, walking up behind him. Maybe not this time. He turned to her, eyes wet, but not from the rain. You still love me? She didn't hesitate. Always have. Always will. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then he reached out, brushing her hair from her face, his thumb catching her tear. Then don't go. Her heart skipped. Daniel. He shook his head. You've run from everything that scares you your whole life. Don't let this be another thing you regret. Her breath hitched. And what if I hurt you again? Then at least I'll know you came back, he said softly. And that's enough for me. Her eyes filled again, but this time with something brighter, hope. He took her hand, guiding her toward the couch. They sat again, closer now, their shoulders brushing. The warmth between them felt like the home both had lost and finally found again. I used to dream, he said after a while, that one day you'd knock on my door, and I'd open it before you even finished knocking. She smiled faintly. Why didn't you this time? He chuckled softly. I wanted to make sure it was real. The rain slowed outside, turning into a soft drizzle. She leaned her head on his shoulder, closing her eyes. Daniel, she whispered, if I stay, can we really start over? He took a deep breath, resting his chin on her hair. We won't start over, Emily. We'll start from here, where we are now. No pretending the past didn't happen. Just choosing to build something stronger from it. She nodded, tears soaking his shirt. I can do that. He smiled, holding her tighter. Then stay. Hours passed, filled with quiet laughter, memories, and words neither thought they'd ever say again. When the rain finally stopped, the first light of dawn peeked through the window, painting the room in gold. Emily looked at him, and for the first time in years, she felt peace. I almost didn't come, she admitted softly. I stood outside for 10 minutes, trying to convince myself to walk away. He kissed her forehead gently. Then I'm glad you didn't. She looked up at him, her voice trembling. Why did you wait all those nights, Daniel? He thought for a moment, then said, because love doesn't disappear just because someone leaves. It waits. Quietly. Patiently. And sometimes, it gets rewarded. Tears rolled down her cheeks again, but this time, they were tears of relief. That night, after so many lonely years, they finally found what they had lost, not the same love as before, but something deeper. Forgiven. Redeemed. Months later, Emily's things never left the house. She still got the job offer, but instead of another city, she chose one closer to home, closer to him. They spent evenings cooking together, sometimes laughing, sometimes sitting in silence that no longer hurt. The porch light stayed on, not for waiting, but as a reminder that some people are worth it. One night, as the rain returned, Daniel found her standing by the window, watching the water slide down the glass. He wrapped his arms around her from behind. What are you thinking? She smiled softly. About the night I knocked on your door. He kissed her temple. And I finally opened it. She turned, looking into his eyes. Thank you for waiting for me. He smiled. Thank you for coming back. The thunder rolled softly outside, and they held each other, knowing that sometimes love doesn't need grand gestures, just a door left open, a light left on, and the courage to knock one last time. Because sometimes, the last time isn't the end, it's the beginning. And in that quiet house, beneath the soft patter of rain, two hearts